Good morning, everyone. The President of Parliament of Aruba, Mr. Raymond Kamperveen, honorable members of Parliament of Aruba, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of Aruba, Minister of General Affairs, Innovation, Government Organization, Infrastructure, and Spatial Development, Mrs. Evelyn Wever Cruz, the Honorable Minister of Tourism and Public Health, Mr. Dan-Guillaume Audibert, the Minister of Integrity, Transportation, and Elderly Affairs, Mr. Ursel Arons, members of the Supervisory Board of the Aruba Tourism Authority, Mrs. Ronela Cruz, CEO of the Aruba Tourism Authority, Mrs. Tisa Lasorte, CEO of the Aruba Hotel and Tourism Association, the distinguished management team of the Aruba Airport Authority, Mr. Mark Figueroa, CEO of the Aruba Ports Authority, the distinguished board of the Aruba Timeshare Association, our current Miss Universe Aruba, Miss Anouk Eyman, and of course, to all our esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aruba Tourism Authority's World Tourism Day Conference. Thank you for being here with us today, and happy World Tourism Day. My name is Adjan Simulir, and it's an honor to be here with you, especially as we gather today to focus on the people who make up the heart of Aruba, our local stakeholders, our community, and each of you present here today. Before we begin, and as notified yesterday, I would like to acknowledge that our scheduled keynote speaker, Kevin Bohm, had to cancel due to the sudden loss of his father. Kevin, our thoughts are with you during this difficult time, and we send you warmth and support from Aruba. Now, today's conference is focused on us, our local perspective, and how we together can move the needle forward for our tourism industry. Each of us here plays an important role in shaping this new path, in growing the value of Aruba, and in ensuring that our tourism is beneficial for our island and our community. As I mentioned during last week's conference, pursuing the happiness we hold dear in Aruba comes with responsibility. As we seek to grow our value, we must protect what makes our island special, our culture, our nature, and our people. With this in mind, we are walking toward a future that embraces sustainability, mindfulness, and regeneration, preserving our island for future generations. In the same spirit, we are deeply honored today to recognize a few unsung local heroes. Through their kindness, warm hospitality, and sharing of our unique culture, these individuals have made our island feel like home. We are immensely grateful for their contributions. Today, we will also engage in meaningful dialogues with a few local figures, agents of change who are doing fantastic work in their fields. Their insights and actions serve as inspiration for the direction we're heading as a community. And with that, it's my pleasure to welcome our Minister of Tourism, Mr. Dan-Guillaume Audibert, to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, bom dia, and a very warm bombini to all of you. It is an honor today to address you on this special occasion of World Tourism Day 2024, where we gather to recognize the power and impact of tourism on our island, Aruba. As Minister of Tourism, I want to begin by expressing my heartfelt thank you to all of you, our local industry stakeholders. Your dedication and hard work have always been and will continue to be instrumental in Aruba's success as a leading destination. Today, we take a moment to once again celebrate our shared achievements. We are not only celebrating Aruba's tourism success, but also taking a deep step back to reflect and look ahead towards the future of our island. We should all be proud of the steady growth and strong performance of our tourism sector. While Aruba consistently ranks as one of the top destinations in the Caribbean, we must acknowledge that we are at a pivotal crossroad. Globally, there's an increasing awareness of the need to manage more responsible, and the challenge of over-tourism is something we cannot afford to overlook. So therefore, as we come together today, let us reflect that sustainability is no longer a choice. It is our responsibility. With that in mind, sustainability is now at the core of our island's long-term tourism vision. As we build upon our past achievements, we remain faithful in our belief that responsible tourism is key to preserving the paradise we proudly get to call home. As one of Aruba's leaders, I am truly mindful that over-tourism is an increasing concern for destinations worldwide, and that Aruba is no exception. Specific measurements have been implemented by the Ministry of Tourism together with our industry partners to ensure that Aruba's tourism industry remains sustainable. Our commitment is shown in the promotion of responsible tourism by increasing awareness among our island visitors to help protect our natural resources, managing visitor flow at key attractions, and encouraging authentic experiences that provide tangible benefits to both our local community and our island's guests. The goal is to strike a balance, one that allows our economy to thrive while protecting and safeguarding the natural beauty that defines the globally renowned Aruba effect. As ministry, we have also taken concrete actions towards a more sustainable tourism. One of the most significant policy directions taken this year is the implementation of a new strict hotel policy, limiting and stopping the expansion of large-scale hotels. This allows us to focus on enhancing the quality of experiences rather than quantity, with the goal of preserving the unique charm and beauty of our island. Additionally, we are embracing the growth of vacation rentals, which we have become an increasingly popular choice for visitors seeking a more authentic connection with our local culture. However, we are committed to ensuring these alternative accommodations are properly regulated, maintaining the balance between growth and sustainability through a new legislation and the establishment of the Aruba Quality and Hospitality Authority. Please allow me now to switch to my native language, Papiamento. Awit um dia importante para nós reflexionar riba a importância de turismo, a significação que o turismo está significar para cada de nós. Turismo não somente é o pilar econômico de mais importante, é um que estimular nossa economia, mas também contribui significantemente no bem-estar social de nosso país. Ingresso de turismo contribui para manter o setor de saúde e fundo de pensão sustentável, para nós garantizar estabilidade de ambos fundos, tanto de SVB e também AZV. Lo que está Aruba, único, é hospitalidade e é serviço que nós embaixadores está oferecer a nossos visitantes. Isso é algo excepcional que está diferenciar Aruba e está Aruba distinto em comparação com nossos competidores. Há seguro um momento para nós expressar nossa gratidão como governo de Aruba, na nos embaixadores, todos que laborar e trabalhar nesse setor e percorrer para Aruba tá a destinação e o produto de qualidade que nós está oferecer na nosso hóspede. Finalmente, vamos juntos seguir trabalhar para lograr turismo responsável e sustentável. É dever e obrigação do governo, mas é dever e obrigação de todos os stakeholders para nós ter isso possível prosperar de uma maneira que seguro beneficiar nos futuras gerações. Com a visão que nós temos para turismo responsável e turismo sustentável, Aruba tem futuro brilhante adiante. Por último, me desejo a cada de vocês dia de turismo e me espera que o dia aqui llena cada de vocês com inspiração e determinação para nosso compromisso com o nosso país, para nós ter turismo responsável e sustentável caminho cada de nós los sinti e prosperidad que o turismo ta brinda e país que nos ta llama Aruba. Mas danke por vossa atenção e desfrutar de dia aqui.
Thank you very much, Minister Odibert. And you will hear that a lot today. Over tourism is a concern, but measures are being taken to move towards responsible tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce someone who has been a guiding force in Aruba's tourism strategy. Mrs. Ronela Cruz, CEO of the Aruba Tourism Authority, has long understood that tourism is about more than welcoming guests. It's about celebrating our culture and ensuring that our community thrives. Under her leadership, the Aruba Tourism Authority has made significant strides in integrating culture, community, and sustainability into the core of our tourism approach. Her dedication to empowering local creatives and shaping future where tourism benefits everyone is evident in every initiative she leads. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Ronela Cruz.
Travel lights a spark in all of us. It opens our hearts and minds to new ideas, cultures, and environments. For those who dive headfirst, it creates an unspoken bond that transcends borders and reveals our shared humanity. And it's only one plane ride away if you're brave enough to book the ticket. But where has it really taken us? Travel is a massive industry. It's the #1 employer in the world, and as it grows, it comes at a huge cost. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We know the system isn't working. So, where do we go from here? I've met leaders from all over the world smashing through barriers and using tourism's might to create the future that they want to see for people, climate, and biodiversity. Each place has real solutions to our toughest problems. Not far off in the future, they exist today.
We are part of the problem and not the solution so far.
This is a transition of an entire ecosystem and how it would like to relate to society.
It's time for the travel industry to be the bold leadership our world needs by rapidly spreading ideas and solutions. There's a chance for travel to usher in a truly sustainable future. This is the only industry that can show people that a better way of living is not only possible, but it's already happening.
Never look at tourism as a goal in and of itself. Look at the society's interest.
Start building alliances.
Whether you're a large city or a small town like we are, we all have to do it.
We need to protect quality of life and preserve the very reason people enjoy coming here.
I think our children own the destination, not we.
This is our moment to lead.
So good morning, everybody, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. With protocol already having been established, I simply wish to welcome you to this year's World Tourism Day conference. Happy that you're joining us, many of you, from different sectors of the community. This goes back to the fact that tourism is a business of everybody on the island. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you traveled? Not for business, not for business. Yeah, that was yesterday, that was last week, etc., etc. When was the last time you traveled for leisure purposes? I hope that that moment of reflection brings with it happy moments, happy memories, memorable memories. Sometimes you can even argue once-in-a-lifetime memories, right? We all recognize that. It's a basic necessity of life, basically. But as you could have seen from the video also, similar to other industries, we also face challenges. And the challenges are on a global front, but also on a local front. So one of my dear friends, and I'm very proud to say that I know some of the people in the video when I watched it, but one of my dear friends, Roger Davids, he was the one who said, and I quote him, "I think that it is our children who own the destination, not we." That is very profound, if you think about it. And also, I like how the video ended. It is time to show the world what is possible, so let's do that. And this video is very special. It was produced for an activation, a global activation happening right now on World Tourism Day. And this activation basically showcases a total of 100 stories from 100 different locations. And it showcases activities and programs focusing on sustainable development. And Aruba is part of it. Aruba is part of today's global activation. And the title of our story is From Trash to Treasure. So we're showcasing the work that is being conducted by the Plastic Beach Party Aruba organization. They turn trash into souvenirs and into other products. So we have stories, we have small stories, we have big stories, but it is about the sum of these stories, and it's about making that sum and that number even bigger, even larger, so as to continue to push sustainable development. So we're very happy to be part of this global activation today. And last week was also one filled with many happy moments, stressful moments as well. I'm looking at the team of the ATA, but many happy moments, because last week we hosted all of our global partners on island from the different regions, so tour operators, airline partners, and this in the occasion of another edition of Aruba's Global Travel Conference. And there were several highlights shared last week. But something that captured my attention and which made a profound impact on me was during the opening ceremony when a locally known archaeologist, he's not present here this morning, but a locally known archaeologist, Mr. Harold Kelly, he was part of a panel, and what he said was very, very profound. So I decided to quote him this morning, and bear in mind, this is from the perspective of an archaeologist. So let me quote him. "When we consider the impact that our actions have on the natural environment and recognize that today's conditions are a result of activities from 500 years ago, it becomes clear that our decisions will profoundly shape the future. Therefore, we must understand that the choices we make today, how we manage and protect our natural resources, will directly influence the future of our tourism industry." And he continued by saying, looking back at the island's history, various industries were developed over time only to be short-lived due to the depletion of natural resources. That means that it is very important for us to realize that if we want to keep on having a successful tourism destination, we must care of our resources. And end of quote. So for us to keep moving forward and sustain a thriving tourism industry, we must build on fertile grounds. And fertile grounds are only possible if we take care of our home. And that means changing the way we approach tourism. As already indicated by both the Minister and to this morning's MC, yes, we take a lot of pride in our consistent and positive performance of our tourism industry. We do not have to forget about that, and we do not have to take that for granted. Aruba continues to be one of the top performers in the Caribbean region, with strong demand and also a strong premium price positioning. But we find ourselves at a crossroads. As we say in Papiamento, and this is something we already brought forward as the ATA, nos está parana cruzada, mientras que nos está celebra e éxito, nos está reconocer e murmullo de cambio, nos está escucha e preocupación. We acknowledge a growing shift in negative sentiment, if you will, towards tourism worldwide. This may vary by market, of course, but the message is clear. Over-tourism is the sobre-turismo. That is the significant negative impact of tourism on the host communities and the natural environment is a real concern. And in Aruba, we are not immune to this wave of skepticism, with local voices expressing increased worries. And our locals are very well aware of the importance of tourism. This was again reconfirmed in another local sentiment survey conducted this year. 68%, as a matter of fact, of the population indicated to be happy with our tourism industry, while for those working in the hospitality sector, 75% said to be happy with the industry. While these percentages were higher, are high, they were higher in the previous round of the same research conducted back in 2018. And when looking at the percentage of the population that scored positive to extremely positive on how tourism impacts them in general, this totaled 68% in 2024. In this regard, when we take a closer look at the results, so 68% find tourism to have a positive impact in general. So what about the other 32%? What are they saying? So out of the 32% of the extremely negative to neutral responses, 19% decided to leave an open comment. And the main topics mentioned in the comments were related to volume of tourists, economic concerns, community engagement, infrastructure improvements, and environmental aspects. The survey also included 16 statements asking respondents to agree or disagree. Notably, some statements saw increases of over 10% this time when compared to the 2018 results. And these statements include, my island is being run for tourists at the expense of the local people. And secondly, tourism in Aruba increases traffic problems. Yeah, familiar. We also saw an increase of over 10% in respondents who disagreed with the following statements compared to 2018. They disagreed with tourism development increases the quality of life in Aruba. Residents' income has increased thanks to tourism development. And tourism helps sustain Aruba's natural resources, parks, and cultural sites. Mind you, I'm referring here to, of the 32% who commented negatively, the 19% left a comment. And this is just to allow us to dissect the sentiment even further and be able to strategize and formulate actions that tackle specific sentiments and concerns of the community. Overall, when looking at the entire research, the top concerns shared through different questions and exercises include unpayable housing, pressure on infrastructure, environmental impact, and impact on our cultural resources. We wish to thank everybody who contributed to the local sentiment survey and who participated. Nós queremos danki na iturco a participar na investigação aqui e o resultado na forma base agora aqui, base para formular estrategia para 2025 e também para a ano que sigue. So all of the input gathered, along with other research conducted, will form the basis for the years to follow and has certainly been used as part of the feedback and input for the strategy for 2025 and to tweak what we can do better at this moment already. As part of our continuous evolution in tourism management, we are committed to transition. And we aspire to move our destination to one that aims to create net positive effects through increasing the regenerative capacity of human societies and ecosystems. This endeavor holds great responsibility, as it determines the direction of not only how we contribute to the economic sustainability of Aruba, but it entails the careful act of balancing the needs of our community, the experience of our visitors, and the sustainability of our island for future generations, all which lie at the core of the high-value, low-impact tourism model, which will continue to be our guiding principle. So we recently developed our 4th multi-annual corporate strategy as the ATA, marking the journey of transformation and change, with concrete plans for the years to follow, but also with a long-term aspiration, if you will, an aspiration that goes all the way to 2035. And this transformation includes several key shifts. One of the main shifts is the move towards a more responsible, sustainable, and finally regenerative industry. I know, frankly, these words and these terms are used sometimes interchangeably and can become very confusing. So when we refer to responsible tourism, we're focusing on creating better places to live and better places for people to visit. Sustainable tourism ensures that tourism is developed and maintained in a way that remains viable over an infinite period of time without degrading the environment or the culture it operates within. And finally, regenerative tourism, that is the aspiration, is a focus beyond responsible and sustainable, where we seek to actively improve and rejuvenate our destination. So we are moving from a traditional tourism industry and paying more attention to responsible tourism and ultimately regenerative tourism. So we have to change things around. And we also, for instance, turned the following question around from what can Aruba do for its visitors to what can Aruba do for its guests and what can our guests do for Aruba, our home. The manner in which we perceive our visitors with a new and refreshed perspective of viewing them as our guests forms an integral part of our pivot towards responsible tourism. We want our visitors to adopt a guest mindset when visiting our home, nos cas, and as such, consider their footprint when roaming and enjoying the island, while respecting and embracing the slower-paced island life and being grateful for the Aruba experience, what we refer to as the Aruba effect. And our Aruba effect communication strategy will further evolve to now include Protect It, a meaningful commitment to invest in work that protects the island, the wildlife, the culture, and the quality of life for the locals. It becomes our internal rallying point to influence how we communicate with a range of audiences, from potential first-time guests and repeaters to on-island residents and businesses, and to on-island guests. By applying the right communication strategy at the feel it stage, so that is the stage that provides inspiration before they visit, even before they think about Aruba, but also by pursuing the right communication strategy at the wanted stage, which aims to create the desire to visit Aruba, and at the get it stage, where they convert that desire in an actual purchase. By applying the right communication strategy, we will be pursuing at all of these stages the protection also of our destination experience and of what lies at the heart of our communication model. And we hope to influence through this vision how we communicate with each audience at every single stage. This means that brand Aruba, what one will see out there, will also talk more about responsible tourism on an international front for the record, not only locally, but also internationally. This does not imply that we are perfect. As a small island state, we have our set of challenges and opportunities and have to commit, however, to continue to strive towards a responsible management of tourism. On-island communication shall also be enhanced to steer behavioral change amongst our guests, but also our locals. And this in support of protecting our island. We will also embrace a segmentation approach targeting specific niches that are aligned with our niche framework. So according to Jeremy Sampson, he's the CEO of the Travel Foundation. According to him, one avenue to safe tourism is to have destination marketing and management organizations such as the Aruba Tourism Authority, focusing more on balancing tourism visitation as opposed to encouraging tourism visitation. So Sampson believes that as such organizations such as the ATA grow stronger in their ability to balance tourism, things will change for the better. So how else do we strike the right balance? Our population's happiness and well-being is key and is a key driver of our guests' experience on island. How can these best coexist? How do we achieve the desired tourism demand while preserving our pristine beaches, ensuring the safety and well-being of our residents and guests alike, and maintain the genuine hospitality that makes our Aruba such a unique and attractive destination. Regardless, we are here to support all of our partners, whether it be NGOs, private sector partners, local, international, all of our partners, including accommodation providers. There's also the new ones coming on board. Whether we present here in this room today agree or not agree with room inventory expansion, whether we like it or not, it is part of the reality. A reality we have to simply manage to the best of our ability. An aspect which has received a lot of attention from the ATA as well as the Ministry of Tourism, as already indicated by the Minister. Our support will focus on a strategy that mitigates the negative impacts that can result from increasing guest numbers. Growth in number of stayover visitor arrivals must eventually be stabilized. No more excessive growth in volume of arrivals is the ultimate goal. Even though there is a total of 900 hotel rooms scheduled to be introduced next year, at the ATA, the projected growth in stayover arrivals is limited to 1% in 2025 in comparison to 2024. And what does this entail? This might mean, as a matter of example, it might mean less guests at short-term vacation rentals and/or a decrease in the island-wide occupancy percentage. As a matter of fact, one internal scenario we've created at the ATA depicts a decline of 2.5% from an occupancy percentage of 80% island-wide to one of 78% in 2025. From a marketing communications perspective, less emphasis shall be placed on attracting more arrivals and more emphasis will be placed on our replacement strategy, where we will broaden the definition of our target audience. We will broaden it in such a way that we not only go through the traditional attributes and how we've evolved over the past years, but now we will look closer at that profile of visitor that shares our mentality and our vision of going for a responsible tourism, so like-minded guests. We would like to see them more represented as part of the total visitor base, and that is where the replacement strategy comes in. So who are these guests? Those who value our responsible tourism mindset, contribute to our economy, respect our culture and natural environment, and protect our destination brand. Behavioral change shall be promoted through education in the different stages of the consumer journey, including, as already indicated, before they visit. This will be quite a shift in Aruba's international brand positioning and communication. We have to also consider Aruba's cruise tourism strategy. What is the multi-annual strategy? And we are ready to continue to work alongside the Ministry of Tourism, the Aruba Ports Authority, and other partners to establish this accordingly. Looking ahead to 2025 and beyond, diversification remains a key priority, while we also remain very hyper-focused on attracting the right visitor. So this means, just as an anecdote, what does that mean actually? That means that at this moment already, based on our targeting strategy and the definition of our targeted audience, this means, for instance, that in the US market, we only go after 10% of the population. Now, that is still a large number of people, I know. But this is the pool of travelers who match the profile we wish to attract. As we expand the definition of what constitutes a high-value guest and focus on those who appreciate the Aruba responsible tourism vision, this 10% might become even less. In Latin America, we will continue to emphasize long-haul markets with more visitors from Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Peru. And our strategy is not to grow the Colombian market any further. So stabilization. We will remain committed to the European market and continue to work on a direct flight out of Switzerland. The best return on investment remains key at all times if we are to pursue a responsible destination marketing strategy. In this regard, I can say that last year, for instance, we invested 7 florins per visitor per night and booked an average daily tourist spend of 532 florins. An increase of 26% in comparison to 2019, and the 7 florins spent carried thus a multiplier effect of 76 times. And how do we ensure that we scrutinize our decision-making accordingly? Of course, through research. And a noteworthy aspect in this regard is that the ATA enhanced its tourism impact econometric model and developed 2 new tools as an extension and adaptation of the previous carrying capacity model developed in 2018. The tourism correlation model and the tourism impact model were prepared to project impact on key socioeconomic indicators of Aruba as a result of growth in room inventory. Next to the number of rooms in the pipeline, occupancy rates and average daily rates are also used as key drivers for the rollout of the impacts using different scenarios that we formulated for the period of 2024 up to 2028. The tourism impact model, we call it TIM, helps us and our stakeholders, including the government of Aruba, to make informed decisions on planning and investments. It depicts not only the economic returns for the various scenarios, but also the level of costs linked to each scenario. For example, think about expansion of room inventory and what it will result in terms of usage of utilities, or generation of waste, or increase in traffic. On the destination development front, we also recognize the need to continue to shift. Our Destination Services Unit has launched a new framework focusing on 5 guiding principles that will be at the center of all destination management efforts, and these are community engagement, sustainable coastal development, carrying capacity, regenerative tourism practices, and continued advocacy. Our destination development efforts will deploy more actions focusing on protection and balance, with our communication and strategies grounded in research and data. An integral part of what we do as the ATA, of course, is our advocacy work and our active participation and involvement in joint private-public sector projects, committees, and boards. And this will, without a doubt, continue to be instrumental if we are to achieve the goals set for tourism. And better managing the flow of how guests move around the island is critical. We not only do this through product upgrades and through the introduction of new experiences, but we also track visitor flow and collect data to provide these to the respective authorities and improve management hereof. As such, the ATA installed, for instance, sensors at key locations. And these sensors provide the ATA with real-time data, allowing us to enhance visitor experiences with live occupancy information, and eventually to be able to optimize visitor flow based on data analytics. So Big Brother is watching. It only tracks movement. I'm very excited about one of our recently launched initiatives. The My Aruba Assistant, this AI-powered travel advisor tool, enhances our ability to offer personalized real-time assistance to travelers, ensuring they have the best experience possible in Aruba. The My Aruba Assistant is available on aruba.com and is integrated into WhatsApp, providing users with convenient and familiar platform to interact. And by continuing these efforts, Aruba can meet the evolving demands of travelers. And by the way, AI assisted Aruba greatly during the management of the pandemic, and we continue to apply AI in various forms at the ATA. Another project that instills a sense of pride also and inspires us is the fact that the ATA can be part of a very special project. We will be establishing and introducing a new Visitor Inspiration Center, one which will reside in a historic building in downtown, a monument which has been unoccupied for 16 years. And this center, across Aruba's cruise terminal, will blend Aruba's hospitality with cutting-edge technology through virtual reality, immersing visitors in our rich culture, stunning natural beauty, and vibrant history. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Aruba Tourism Authority and across the industry, we continue to be vigilant, though. For the US market, for instance, recent analysis indicates that the market might be getting back to normal, meaning to pre-pandemic levels. Americans might be decreasing spend on travel. Have travelers finally had enough? With revenge travel over and pandemic savings depleted, travelers might be planning fewer trips or skipping their vacations altogether. The essence of the message is that the tourism industry is strong and vibrant, yet let's not forget how vulnerable the industry is. Even though we project 2025 to be a year with stable stayover visitor arrivals when compared to 2024, and even though we project continued growth in tourism receipts, we have to keep in mind that Aruba is one of the top 3 countries in the world most reliant on tourism when measuring contribution of tourism to the GDP. This, together with the reference shifts, implies that the task at hand in 2025 and beyond is vast. It is vast if we wish and if we want to continue to work towards safeguarding the pillar of our economy, our tourism industry, which is vital to our livelihood. And we have been listening, we are listening, we have taken actions and are committed to introduce more structural shifts to Aruba's strategy. But it remains critical to remind you all that this is a shared responsibility. It is not a sole task of the Aruba Tourism Authority. With that said, we are happy to take the lead on several aspects and fronts. As a matter of fact, it is a distinct honor to be able to do that. But it is a shared responsibility. And let's take a moment to, before I end and conclude, let's take a moment though to also remind ourselves of the impressive results we've seen over the past years. Historic recovery from the pandemic. And this is thanks to all who contribute and work hard at making this happen. Let's not take that for granted and not forget about our amazing accomplishments. And just as we encourage our visitors to adopt a guest mindset when visiting our home, let's also be mindful of the fact that we as residents must also take care of our footprint as we explore and enjoy our island. Let's also embrace the Aruba effect. And let us remember that un Aruba dushi pabiba, ta un Aruba dushi pabishita is what we wish to pursue, and that this is a collective responsibility.
So ladies and gentlemen, yes, the keynote speaker, the keynote speaker canceled this morning. So of course, I took the opportunity to go a bit extra in terms of time. But I hope that the message is clear. And one thing that I think I do want to mention though, is the fact that it is important to just focus our energy on best managing the challenges that lie ahead. And also embracing opportunities. So not in lugar aquí na Aruba pa sentimento de antiturista of antiturismo. E energia e nang nos usa mijo colectivamente na ayuda, guía e desarrollo turístico y el desarrollo de nuestro país de manera deseada y conforme lo cual nos plantea ave. E sempre te querer un mensaje também que hopi importante. I would like to thank all of our partners, but also I would like to thank the team of the Aruba Tourism Authority, recognizing those who work on island, but also those working abroad as we speak. I would like to thank them for their dedication and passion, but also for the patience they carry. It is not easy sometimes to work at the ATA, and I'm not referring to internal challenges, also exist of course, but also to be able to convey the message, convey the shift externally, gather understanding for what we do, and get everybody on board. And that requires patience. So I would like to acknowledge that, because we're talking about a lot of shifts this morning. It's a different tone, but we hope that you also embrace what we brought forward this morning. Masha danki, y pa bien, feliz dia de turismo. Imita pa sa palabra wo pa mi colega Sanju, Laurens Daryanani, our Chief Marketing Officer, who will take you through some of the shifts that are happening already on the communications front, but also what will be happening as we proceed and implement the new strategy. Well done. Thank you.
Wow. I know the material and I was touched very much. Thank you, Ronella. Thank you for your guidance, your leadership, and thank you to all the team members here. So with the formalities out of the way, let me wish you all a happy Tourism Day, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is wonderful to see many familiar faces here this morning, those who have been a vital part of our industry's success over the years. Your dedication has been instrumental in shaping the tourism landscape we celebrate today. But it's equally exciting to welcome new faces, the next generation of talented and passionate individuals who are ready to continue driving our island's tourism forward. Today is a day to celebrate all of you, the heart and soul of our industry, and the incredible potential we have together. As you may have already heard or seen, this year's theme is centered around tourism and peace. You might wonder, how do we as Aruba relate to this theme? Today, as we gather to celebrate this special day, we reflect on the powerful role tourism plays in bringing people together. It's the heart. It fosters connection between individuals, communities, and cultures. It is not just about travel and exploration, but about building bridges across borders, promoting understanding, and creating a shared sense of harmony. And for those visiting Aruba, it is about the Aruba effect. Exactly 10 days ago, I shared some of our marketing with our top international partners during the Aruba Global Travel Conference. I would like to share this with you today as well. So to some of you, this may be familiar, and to others, enjoy the journey. All right, so let's get this show on the road. I want to start by sharing a video. You've seen many videos here this morning, but I don't want you to just watch it. I want you to feel it. I want you to really embrace it. So did you feel that? While we are talking marketing, I need to accentuate that the Aruba effect is not a campaign. The moment you set foot on Aruba, something within you shifts. This island has a way of awakening joy from the inside out. Every visit, you uncover a brighter, lighter version of yourself, one that lingers long after you've gone. You carry that joy back home, sharing its warmth with others. And before you know it, you're drawn back for more. Every adventure, every connection, every memory leaves its mark, shaping you in ways you never expected. It is the actual positive change that guests take home when they leave. So even if our marketing ends, the Aruba effect persists. We can choose to make a campaign about it or not. But there's one way to take it to the next level. We must protect it. Through our actions and marketing, if we treat the Aruba effect as something precious, something that we don't take for granted, we can compel others to see it the same way, as something rare and valuable, something worth taking care of by changing behavior, slowing down, and reducing impact. As a visitor, you're here to explore, to see, and to experience. You observe the beauty, taste the culture, and capture moments. But the moment you become a guest, everything changes. You're no longer passing through. You're welcomed into the heart of the island. It's not about seeing places anymore. It's about feeling at home. Your relationship with the island evolves, and suddenly you're not just consuming experiences, you're contributing to the story. As a guest, your behavior towards the host country shifts. You respect its rhythms, appreciate its traditions, and engage with its people in a more meaningful way. You're not just taking memories home, you're leaving something behind, whether it's a smile, friendship, or a small act of kindness as you become part of the island's fabric. There are two pillars that create the Aruba effect: the island and the local culture. To protect the positive change we deliver to our guests, we must protect the land, water, and wildlife, and we must find a balance. But to protect the effect, rejuvenation must go both ways. Like our beloved parrotfish's relationship to the health of the coral reef, Aruba and its guests have a symbiotic relationship. We create lasting rejuvenation for our guests. Our guests rejuvenate our island when they respect our environment and honor our culture. So I come back to the question, how do we take the Aruba effect to the next level? Before I move forward, let's take a look at the evolution of the Aruba effect. In year one, we established the Aruba effect. Aruba changes within. In year two, the focus was on the fact that it stays with you. In year three, which is our current year, we defined the it as the rejuvenation that stays with you. And in year four, which is 2025, we're now establishing a relationship, rejuvenation that goes both ways. It is reciprocal. So to summarize our vision for 2025, Aruba is to be positioned as a mutually rejuvenating destination. We create lasting rejuvenation for our guests, and our guests rejuvenate our island when they respect our environment and honor our culture. We shall continue to articulate the differentiate Aruba's value proposition, from the beaches to our refreshing winds, our culture of mashadanki with reciprocal generosity and gratitude, and our diverse sacred terrains explorable with low-impact activities. The customer journey will be extended to include the on-island communication with our guests. We shall go from having only a visitation and acquisition campaign to a visitation and behavior campaign, one which focuses on educating the guests about our culture, our flora and fauna, and our delicate ecosystem, and the why behind this. In market, we shall weave in messaging of protect it, while on island, the core of our messaging will be aimed at protect it. I'm not able to share our campaigns as yet for 2025, as these are being ideated as we speak. However, the shift is already in motion. Let me share with you several examples expressed through our key niches of wellness: eco-conscious travel, weddings balanced with romance, and culinary experiences. As I walk you through these, you'll undoubtedly feel the essence of our culture, a blend of diversity, warm hospitality, and a touch of wit and lightness that defines the spirit of our island. Rejuvenation, Aruba's unique take on wellness, will remain at the heart of the Aruba effect. In today's world, where consumers are constantly bombarded with marketing messages and increasingly tuning out traditional ads, we had to find a more creative approach to connect with them. That's why we develop content that is not only branded, but also engaging and entertaining, ensuring our message resonates in a way that feels authentic and compelling. Here is our first example, the Relaxathon. We capitalized on the momentum of the Olympics by turning the Relaxathon into a fun and engaging competition centered around relaxation. Through playful, entertaining content, we invited participants to compete in various relaxation events, from beach lounging to sunset watching, all set against the backdrop of Aruba's serene landscape. And guess what? And those of you who know, I was part of that event. It was very difficult for me to relax, but I made it. So take a look.
Heart rates will be monitored, tans will get slightly tanner, and inner peace will be pushed to its very limit. I'm Sean White, and this is the Aruba Relaxathon.
So here's a second example, the blue lizard. Through appealing branded content again, this program emphasizes the 4 key elements of water, fire, earth, and air, each representing a pillar of eco-conscious travel and sustainability, and closely aligned with Aruba's commitment to wellness. Take a look.
¿Qué harías en una crisis existencial? Yo, Jason Silva, viajé a la isla más feliz del mundo y encontré el Blue Lizard Effect. Acompáñame a esta serie documental por Aruba.
All right. On March 20th, we taught the world a new language. In honor of International Day of Happiness, what better place to own this day than the One Happy Island? Our campaign, The Language of Happiness, aimed at promoting positivity and kindness among residents and guests. Here we see the symbiotic relationship coming to life already. This campaign ran in 6 different languages in all markets simultaneously.
Bombini, welkom. Op Aruba is geluk meer dan een gevoel. Het is een taal. En voor ons staat deze taal gelijk aan het uitspreken van dankbaarheid, het beoefenen van wellness, het omarmen van het communitygevoel, het vriendelijk zijn naar anderen en het stimuleren van groei. Het maakt niet uit waar je vandaan komt. De taal van het geluk is overal hetzelfde. Zowel op het One Happy Island als ver daarbuiten.
So, and another innovative way of presenting wellness in our markets is through these wellness cards that share positive messages. So you see we look beyond what we're doing to get to our messaging and to our audiences. So now on to my favorite, culinary. Through our culinary diversity, we share our mutual respect and gratitude for all people and flavors. Diversity is Aruban authenticity. Take a look at this collaboration we did with Bon Appetit. I know it's still early, but anyone hungry yet? Yeah, all right. We do have some wonderful restaurants in Aruba. So here are some culinary blogs and social media posts to show a variety in channels we use. And to further embrace our diversity, we shall be introducing Auténtico, which we actually already did. The festival shall consist of a restaurant week, VIP dinner experiences, a weekend pavilion against the backdrop of our historical Wilhelmina Straat with over 25 restaurants and 8 beverage providers, a main stage with an Iron Chef competition and a bartender's brawl, along with educational sessions for our students to continue to inspire them. And so I do encourage you all to come and see what we have to offer at Auténtico. We have a team in the lobby that is there providing information, and we are selling tickets as well. So, we are known across the globe for having the largest vow renewal in the Caribbean. We took a step back and said, even though this has been a huge part of who we are and who we've been, if we are really setting out to protect it, then we need to evaluate all of our programs through that lens. And that is exactly what we did by pivoting Aruba I Do to be the most memorable in 2024. Please watch.
I was 19, John was 21. And everybody said, oh, it'll never last, it'll never last. And here we are 54 years later.
We both live in Bologna, but we never met each other before, so...
Thanks to the dating app, we met each other and we getting married.
It was a love at first like.
Yes.
Es una larga historia porque yo era directora de una emisora que se llama Los 40 Principales y ella me escuchaba y decía, wow, esa voz me encanta. Eso fue como en el 2005 y me fui a vivir a Bogotá, nos separamos y ella hizo su vida, yo hice la mía y nos volvimos a encontrar en el 2016.
We're gathered here today at this beautiful historic place that is Fort Southman to celebrate the recommitment to the most intimate and special of relationships, the supreme sharing of the experience that we know as marriage.
Oh, he's signing up for another 54 years tonight.
We'll see how that works out.
At the first sight, I thought that she was the one, because we liked the same thing, we have the same passions.
Sí, o sea, cuando te toca, te toca. Desde ese año estamos juntas y ha sido maravilloso y ha sido lo mejor que nos ha pasado en la vida, yo creo que a las dos.
As you celebrate your wedding anniversary, I urge you to recall those things that have made your relationship succeed.
I promise that I always share food with you.
La comunicación.
O sea, la comunicación.
Mucha paciencia. Yo creo que eso es lo más importante y sobre todo amor. Si no hay amor.
I will tell her what I tell her every day, many times. I love her.
And I think that's the most important. I will say, I love you. It's been 54 years and I still love you.
So that's the true Aruba effect. Last December, ATA recognized a sustainable option that travelers could lean into and feel good about from an eco-conscious perspective. It was crucial to do so as both travelers and other destinations were embracing responsible tourism. The industry was and continues to shift towards this space. We knew that Aruba needed to re-engage tourists on sustainability, but with our own authentic spin. So what did we do? We leveraged our delicious drinking water and gave it a splashy new name, Paradise on Tap. In partnership with a certified water sommelier, and yes, they do exist out there, we encouraged guests to bring reusable water bottles and drink Aruba's potable drinking water.
Hello everybody, here's Martin, your personal water sommelier. I'm here in beautiful Aruba and I'm gonna taste Paradise on Tap because that is Aruba's tap water. It's one of the best tap waters I ever tasted. It's super tasty, super smooth on the palate. I really love this. As a traveler, we all have our responsibility to keep this island beautiful for the next generations by drinking your incredible good tap water. So bring your reusable bottle, use it, and be proud of the tap you're drinking because that is clearly Paradise on Tap and you are in paradise. And what obviously stays with me is the beautiful taste of everything. The creativity of the people, the hospitality of the people, the amazing tap water, the beautiful oceans, the sunshine. Hey, I don't want to leave. Why I should go back? That is the question. That's the Aruba effect. Cheers.
And here are some of the headlines we received out there in Travel Weekly, Men's Journal, Parade, and Travel Press. There were many more, but we just wanted to share a couple. Next, our new Aruba Promise. And finally, the ATS set out to pivot towards responsible tourism, and part of that is using our voice to advocate for what practices that will sustain our island. And we started with revamping our Aruba Promise so that we all understand that if we slow down and consider our behaviors, we can positively impact change. The Aruba Promise: I will consider my footprint on island. I will embrace a slower pace. I will promise to be a responsible, respectful guest. I will travel mindfully so that Aruba can remain one happy island for generations to come. And here is a preview of the Aruba Promise website, where one can join us in making the promise. By committing to doing your part, our guests help protect Aruba's natural beauty and diversity, ensuring it remains a welcoming and happy place. And now for a glimpse of what is next. The ATA recently entered into a collaboration with WOW, the nature film. The WOW team will produce a feature film about nature on the 6 Caribbean islands of the kingdom. This shall be released in cinemas on the islands and in the Netherlands. Additionally, they shall produce a 6-part documentary series about the relationship between people, nature, to be shown on Dutch TV and streaming services such as Netflix and Amazon Prime. Besides the film, they will engage in educational and awareness programs for schools and companies. So as we continue to work on our 2025 campaign, I leave you with these thoughts, which are simple statements, yet these provide education and guidance in subtle ways. Leave the seashells, take home peace of mind. Stop trying to do all things, start enjoying the little things. Take it easy, feel breezy. And go slow and feel more. In closing, may we remember and be proud of the fact that our guests are not only warmed by our sunshine, but also our unique culture of mashadanki. Graciousness and gratitude are at the heart of Aruban hospitality, and we have always been thrilled to share this. And may we continue to do so for many years to come. Masha danki.
Masha danki Ronella, Masha danki Sanju. Now I had to do a sum up of the things that you've shared. It was a lot of great information. However, part of the presentation, Ronella reminded me of that video. We are standing at a crossroads. We are listening to the murmullo di cambio. However, the shift is in motion. You have been heard, and today we are talking about that change, but you've seen that change is in motion. Now, as we move forward on this new path for Aruba's tourism industry, we find ourselves at a crucial moment. A moment where each one of us has the opportunity to make a difference. Today's panel conversation is more than just a discussion. It's an invitation for each of us to reflect on how we, individually and collectively, can move the needle. How can we be the agents of change that drive forward this new development and shape the future of our island? This conversation is meant to inspire and motivate you, and it is meant to help you connect with your own purpose. See how you can apply today's insights to your daily work, and ask yourself, how can I contribute to this new path that we are creating for our tourism industry. We have three incredible individuals with us, each of whom brings a unique perspective to this discussion. They are not only leaders in their fields, but also examples of how passion, creativity, and perseverance can create a lasting impact. Ladies and gentlemen, as you've just seen in the trailer for the Blue Lizard project a while back, the world was introduced to the beauty of Aruba through the elements of water, wind, earth, and fire. This project highlighted not just the natural splendor of our island, but also the talents of the individuals who represent these elements. Two of those talents are with us today. First, we have Nicole Dancer, who embodies the element of water in the Blue Lizard project. Nicole's journey reflects the fluidity, strength, and life-giving force of water, both in her career and in her approach to her craft. She is here today to share her insights on how we can all find inspiration in the simplest of elements around us and use that inspiration to impact our community. I'd like to call Nicole on stage with a big round of applause of everybody. Welcome back, Nicole. Great seeing you again. Next, we are honored to have Armando Goedgedrag, who represented the element of air in the project. Armando is a visual artist whose creativity breathes life into everything he touches. Just like the air we breathe, his work is essential, often invisible in its quiet impact, but undeniably powerful. Armando's vision reminds us of the importance of nurturing creativity in shaping our island's identity. Armando Goedgedrag. Welcome, Armando. And joining them, we have Anouk Eyman. Anouk is a true example of resilience and strength. Anouk was once on the path to Olympic glory as a synchronized swimmer, but a life-changing spinal surgery due to severe scoliosis redirected her journey. She transformed into an Iron Woman, and armed with a master's degree, she became a founding official of Aruba's Department of Children and Youth, pioneering the nation's first early intervention system for children with autism and neurodevelopmental needs. Today, as an international model and our current Miss Universe Aruba, she stands as an inspiration, showing us all how to rise above challenges and shine with courage. Anouk, please join us on stage. Welcome. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Now, this panel is essential because it serves as a mirror for each of us. A mirror that reflects not just the paths of these extraordinary individuals, but our own potential to be leaders and creators of change. Today's conversation is about transformation, about finding courage in the face of challenges, and about realizing that each of us in our own way can inspire and empower others. As we listen to their stories, I encourage you to reflect on your own journey and ask yourself, how can I apply what I learned today to help move the needle in my own work, my own life, and for the future of Aruba's tourism industry? I hope that this conversation inspires you, motivates you, and encourages you to take action. Let these stories and insights serve as a spark, one that lights the way forward as we all work to elevate Aruba to new heights. Let's begin. So the way I will do this is I will ask a question, and each one of them will have their moment to answer the question the best way they think possible. Nicole, we're going to start with you. So what initially sparked your curiosity and motivated you to pursue the path you're on?
Well, I was a math teacher, but I wanted to scuba dive, so I convinced some students at school that they also wanted to scuba dive so that we could go and leave school early and dive. But it was their curiosity that actually drove me, and it was their desire to do something about the state of the reefs and to do something to give back to the community. And so I really had to encourage their curiosity because that's what teachers do, right? We want to have lifelong learners. And so I owe all of this to my students because if they had not asked me questions that I had no answers to, I would have never realized just what was going on.
So last week we spoke about water as an element, but this week we're talking about now curiosity. You think that's an element that's important in our lives, that we should continue to be curious about the things we do and the way we impact community?
If you're not curious about anything, then you're not really living life, right? You're not experiencing the world around you if you're not a bit curious about it.
How about you, Armando? What initially sparked your curiosity and motivated you to pursue the path you're on?
Yeah, I would like to say first, thanks for having us. So my father is Aruban, my mother is Dutch. I was born in the Netherlands. At the age of 2, I came here. In short, I will keep it very personal now. I was bullied when I was young because I looked like a European. Without knowing I was being pushed out of the island, I thought going back to the Netherlands when I was studying, that would be my new home. But the dreams told me that my heart belongs on the island. And it was the wildlife, the surfing, the great times with my friends and family that I spent on the island that got me coming back. And eventually I noticed that I have a purpose. With my vision and passion and talents, I noticed I can make a great impact on the island. So,
how important is curiosity in your life?
I think it's like a driving force. Together with faith, you can come very far.
I notice that whenever you talk about this, your personal life, you become very emotional because you're very much in tune and in touch with those emotions. Yes. And through a conversation that we've had like a year ago, or maybe more, at the talk show, I did see that curiosity in your case also drives the path that you're on. How about you, Anouk? How does curiosity drive you to be on the path that you're on?
Bon dia, bon dia. It's such an honor to be sitting among so many powerful and inspiring individuals, and I get to sit in front of you. But as we were talking yesterday when we were going over the panel today, I have different paths in life. So it's difficult to pick and choose which one I want to talk about because all I'm very passionate about. But the first one I think was when I was training for the Olympics. I must say from a very small age, I dared to dream big. And I feel like going to the Olympics back then seemed so easy, but now when I think about it, I was crazy. What was I thinking?
But maybe you were also very curious.
I was very curious, and I think that gave me the discipline. And I was also very, very proud to be called Aruba. And I think that's where it started, where after not qualifying for the Olympics, I was asking myself, do I want to give another 4 years of my life, dedicating my entire life to synchronized swimming, training a minimum of 8 hours a day, not having a social life. I didn't have a normal teenage life, and that's where I started to get a lot of pain, and my body was telling me, Anouk, it's enough, you need to focus on your health. And then the part of going through a massive surgery, finishing my master's degree simultaneously when I was training for the Olympics, made me realize that there's something else out there for me. And then while I was recovering, they asked me, hey, Anouk, you want to go to Miss Aruba? I was like, me? Did you see the big scar on my back? Like, I didn't think I belonged in the beauty industry at all. I was a very tough person, you know, very sporty. So for me, the beauty world, I didn't know anything about it, but then I shifted my mind and I said, wow, I'm gonna be the person that's gonna change and redefine the beauty industry. And then on top of that, my passion for kids started since a young age. I was animating parties, face painting, making animal balloons, which I still do. And then that's where I also knew that I want to do something with kids. I love working with kids. They're my passion. So that's in a nutshell.
Now, in this whole conversation that we've been having today about change, about shift happening, how important do you think it is for us to remain curious? Who's gonna give me the first answer? How important it is for us to remain curious based on what we've been seeing and learning today?
I'll go first, rip the Band-Aid off. As an educator, I would always encourage students, if you don't know something and you're not sure about something, to look into it and don't be afraid of what you don't know. And when we started Scubble Bubbles, we didn't know what we were doing. We looked for somebody else that we could just kind of volunteer at and join, but there was nothing happening, so we had to start it. And I think if you're not curious and if you're not open-minded to how we can do things, how we can maybe be the first to do it, take that first step, then we're going to run out of resources. We're going to run out of a nice, happy island.
Armando. Now, this question is also for you, by the way. I have a next question. What gives you the courage to continue when you face challenges? And no, think about that also. This question is for everyone.
Sorry, can you repeat
What
that?
gives you the courage
Yeah.
to continue when you face challenges?
I think because, yeah, if we look on Aruba, it's like on planet Earth, Aruba is like a small dot. But when I was studying in the Netherlands, I realized how much different we are from the whole world. And if we just hone it really well. So many people tell me sometimes, why don't you paint a nice lion or elephant on a wall? I tell them because Aruba has a lot of nice wildlife and it hasn't really gotten its attention that it deserves. So that curiosity and the challenge to bring it more out there to the public, tourists and locals, I really, yeah, it always gives me like a push to pursue this thing of doing it. It's hard to describe, but yeah.
I think we understand that. Anouk?
For me, the challenges helped me grow as a person. During the moment, I didn't realize that everything that happens, all the challenges I've encountered, I ask, like, why? I worked so hard, you know, and why not meet my goals, or what did I do wrong? But then later on, I realized, oh, because there was something better for me. It helped me grow. It helped me learn to meet new people, and it's exactly what needed to happen to me for me to be the person I am today. So.
How about you, Nicole?
I'll piggyback on that. It's in those challenges that we grow. And yeah, we don't see it when it's happening, but afterwards you're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be done. That's supposed to be my partner in this, or that's supposed to be the direction I take.
Now, talking about growth, direction, I'm sure all of you are aware a bit, or maybe more, about the development of tourism on the island historically. It's been over 7 decades. Do you see a story there of courage? Do you see a story there of resilience? Do you see a story there of facing challenges head-on courageously? If we talk about the history of tourism on the island.
So, some of you know I like to complain about tourism. The destruction on the island. We can keep on talking about that, but I think it's always the challenge to, because our economy needs to keep growing, we're dependent on it, and I do find it important that we come with solutions. And I personally am very happy the way Aruba Tourism is, the plans that they want to go to. And also, yeah, it's just daily a challenge to find that balance because the locals matter too. And yeah, not just people, but the wildlife as well. And if we lose the things on the island loses its uniqueness. So it's a challenge, and the curiosity of Aruba Tourism to continuously explore that is, I have my respect for them.
You have an answer for the question?
Actually, what I think was very interesting during the process when I was participating for Miss Aruba, we had an activity at ATA, and they were saying something that impacted a lot, that stayed in my mind, was when they mentioned that the government is working towards the rights of nature and the rights of ocean, and that we are the #1 and number 2 in the world. For me to think such a small island, and we're so far, and we're examples to so many big countries, was mind-blowing for me. And I've also learned that I need to educate myself more, because now I'm not a Nook anymore, I'm Aruba. And when I go represent our island, I need to be able to know these things, to be able to educate people, and what we all want is bring everybody to Aruba. Even the Miss Universe crown.
Determined. Determined and courageous. Now, compassionate leadership not only acknowledges and understands what others are going through, but also takes actionable steps to support and help them. In your roles, in what ways do you encourage and support others, especially the younger generation?
Well, Scubble Bubbles is focused on getting young people active in ocean conservation, and I encourage them to actually step forward and step up. So we've got a bunch of beach cleanups happening, and that's all being managed and organized and done by a local who's actually, she's studying in the Netherlands, but she's here to do her internship with us. And it's those types of things. I feel like sometimes we don't trust our young people enough, and I want to give them an opportunity. If they want to try to grow coral in a different way, I'm going to support them in that. If they want to do some research on the growth of different corals or the impact of different fish, we need to give them an opportunity. And so that's what I try to do, is give them someone who believes in them and someone who's going to help push them, because as we saw in the video, they're the ones who own the destination. It's their future. Our future's already done, so we need to give them the power to actually make the change.
Yes. Well said, yeah. So I plan on giving more workshops the coming time. I've been asked that a lot. It hurts me a lot to see how many young ones and even older ones want to learn how to paint, for example. But I also want to say that so many people don't believe that you can be a living, being an artist on the island. They always tell me, yeah, you should go to Europe or the States. That's the way to go. But the island has so much to offer. And again, what keeps me driving is the faith and the inspiration that other artists provide through music, through dancing, and photography, everything. So, and I just want to keep shining, being an example for the youth to show them that Aruba is very special, and you can get a lot out of it for yourself, and become someone amazing, unique. Yeah.
Thank you, Armando. Anouk?
Before you move on to the next question, I really wanted to share my thoughts on this one.
Of course.
When first I participated for Miss Aruba, I didn't have an Instagram account. And they told me, Anouk, you should open an Instagram account. And I was like, why? Why do people want to know about, what do they want to know about my life? I don't want to share. But then when I obviously had to open the Instagram, I realized it was such a powerful tool, and how much I can influence, and the impact of just, uploading a story. And I realized it's a ripple effect. And I remember when I was younger, I used to compare myself with the standard beauty, with women on magazines. They had these perfect faces, and everything was so perfect. So that's why I never thought that I belonged, that I would ever be one of those girls. And then I said, wait a minute, I'm going to use my Instagram to be able to share, real women, that we have pores, and besides me going through, a very big spinal surgery, that it's not going to stop me to reach my goals, and just share that authenticity and be me and, you know, share projects I care about. I don't really like to talk about myself, and I feel like my Instagram, sometimes I don't know which topics to share, but I remember one day I was at the beach at Mangal Alto, and with my nephew, we started doing a beach cleanup. And I was like, you know what, let me share. I thought it was so cute. And then the feedback I got back from people was like, wow, Anouk, it's super nice that you're educating, you know, your nephew and you uploaded it. You have no idea the impact you just did. And then that's when I realized that's what I'm going to use to be able to, you know, change the younger minds and create a ripple effect.
Thank you. So it's quite clear that all the three of you are really busy inspiring, motivating, elevating the human being, but also especially the younger generation. Now, based on what you just said, it's just something I would like to add. The Aruba Tourism Authority currently has become the most important ally and partner for the development of the cultural and creative industries, and we would like to thank the Tourism Authority for that also. Now, what advice would you give to others who want to make a positive impact on the island by following their heart and passion?
Well, I'd say start small, but don't be afraid to take big leaps. If you're passionate about something and something is calling to you, don't be afraid to be a little unstable for a while. For longer than I'd like to admit, I've worked a side hustle so that I could actually focus on Scubble Bubbles and not have a full-time job. And it's scary, but it's also very exciting, and it's so rewarding when it pays off. And so you just, small steps, and then when you're ready, a nice big leap. And just don't be afraid. I think I didn't get to answer the courageous question. And I want to say that I think it's very courageous that Aruba is saying, okay, look, we need tourists, but let's redirect how we do this. Let's refocus on bringing people here who love Aruba as much as we all do. And I think that's really important, and that's very brave, because it's very easy to take the easy way, right? It's very easy to just bring as many people in as you can, to fit as many people on your boat as you can, to put as many people in the water, to feed the fish so that they come see you. But it's a lot harder and a lot braver to do the right thing and to say, let's put less people on the boat. Let's put less people in the water. Let's not feed the fish, but let's tell the people why we're not feeding the fish. And that's my own little thing. But like, I think it's, yeah, you have to do it. You have to take that step. You have to have a little bit of faith, you know? Armando's talked about faith, and you really do have to have faith that it will work out.
Thanks, Nicole. How about you, Armando? Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I think so we see a lot of cool things going viral on the internet. My way of seeing it always is, if you want to, let's say, maybe copy that or do that as well, just don't forget and don't underestimate your island. Don't underestimate Aruba, and don't just, because it's I'm just saying, a cool hotel in Hawaii, put it here too. Be cautious that you're in Aruba and not there. And again, just don't forget the island.
Thank you, Armando. Anouk?
And I obviously follow your heart, stay committed, surround yourself with, you know, inspiring people, positive people, dream big. And then something I also, I'm very passionate about is children, you know, with special needs. And I do feel like the island, we should focus a little bit more on inclusivity, because we do want everyone to feel welcome, even individuals with disability. And sometimes I think that we can improve in that, because just imagine somebody on a wheelchair visits Aruba. Is that person going to be able to experience everything we're experiencing? No, because we're not there yet. And I feel like that we can improve in that area.
Thank you, Anouk. Now, maybe you've noticed, maybe not, but we focused on a few very important words during the panel discussion. I have a few more questions, but the thing is, we have to move on in the program. Now it's the Q&A session, but before we move on, we focused on curiosity, courage, compassion, and heart. Now this morning, the Aruba Tourism Authority, in its message of Feliz Dia de Turismo, shared a beautiful post. If you haven't seen it yet, when you see it, that will be our guiding compass from now on. Courage, curiosity, compassion, and heart. We want to continue with the conversation. However, this is part of the program where if you have questions, this is your chance to ask questions to our panelists based on maybe what they shared with us this morning, but also based on the questions that you might have about all the information that was shared this morning. Should you have questions, we have the microphone right here. Good morning.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Good morning. My name is Thais Nirop with the Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management Studies. Congratulations on the presentation of this morning with the results of the research and everyone who has been making sure that Aruba is offering the product Aruba. I have, not sure if this is a question or more a concern to everyone. When we talk about sentiment, are we concerned that to a certain extent the sentiment can be turned into resentment, seeing that the percentage of happiness has changed from the last survey to today? To what point are we maybe concerned about that sentiment, maybe not very happy with over-tourism, can turn into resentment? Because the moment it turns into resentment, it's something that's very negative to the product of Aruba. So I would just like to know if anyone has an opinion on this.
I was going to say, that's not for me.
I think that's a question that the Tourism Authority CEO will be answering.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that is precisely why we also measure local sentiment, because we recognize that it is important to measure what locals think and how they feel about tourism. So it's not a new thing for the ATA. But when you detect certain things, and then aside from that, when we know and what we illustrated today, it's not an Aruba thing. It's a movement within the travel and tourism industry. So things that might be happening abroad might find their way to Aruba, and people might start thinking about certain things indeed. That is why I also decided to end today with the anti-tourist, anti-tourism sentiment and actions that can be detrimental to what is so vital to our livelihood. There is no other way of putting that. So we have to be very, very careful about that. So I hope that that message is certainly resonates with people who might be creating such thoughts and thinking about such a behavior to basically reach their end goal. There are other ways to do it. And that is what I encourage them to also think about, should they have these particular thoughts that they're carrying around. Yeah, thank you.
And if I may just add, the message you finished your presentation with, I thought was key. And even though resentment can be a negative consequence, we still have to remember that we are Aruba, and no matter what, we need to focus more on the positive and what can we do to make sure that we don't get to that point. So again, congratulations to the entire team in presenting what is real and how we can make a change for the future, not just for us, but also for our children. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Niro, for the question. Thank you, Ronella, for the answer. If we don't have more questions, I have a last question for our panel. Okay. In your opinion, now that the shift is in motion, what does success look like for Aruba as we move forward with this new path in tourism, how do we balance growth of value with preservation?
That's such a loaded question.
How do you envision
so
it?
for me, I envision a successful Aruba where the guests who come, they want to experience Aruba, but not in a generic way and not in a I'm going to use it kind of a way. We heard that we should have a symbiotic relationship, and there are multiple relationships within marine life, and one is parasitic, where the host is negatively impacted and the parasite has a wonderful life. And I think that's where we've kind of not been going, but maybe a little bit verging that way. And we're looking for more of a mutually beneficial symbiosis. And so I personally would love it if all the tourists who came to Aruba wanted to come learn about corals and donate to Scubble Bubbles and make a positive impact in that way, or see some murals and donate to art education in Aruba, and help kids with autism and show them that life can be very cool and they can learn how to have a nice full life. And so I think success looks like all of us working together to make it so that people who come visit, they're our guests. They're not our tourists. They're not our customers, but they are our guests.
Thank you, Nicole. Armando?
I'm trying to remember the question. It's a bit...
Moving forward,
the
shift is in motion. What does success look like for Aruba as we move forward this new path in tourism?
I think that all the originality and traditions and the things that make Aruba Aruba. Now, of course, we're influenced by outside. That's why I also made a mural of all nice flowers from Aruba. But they're actually all flowers that were imported to Aruba. Everyone that lives here is Aruban, I believe. So I just want to really emphasize on that the music, the art, the nature, the experiences that you can have on the island that is not being trampled, if that's the right word, by, again, things going viral outside, that just like a bulldozer, moving that aside and just saying that's not cool. But we need to understand, I think, that tourists actually love what is really from Aruba. I think so.
Authenticity. Thank you, Armando. Anouk?
I just want to share like a personal experience. Last year, I had the opportunity to live abroad in Europe, in Milan, for modeling. And that's when I realized, wow, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel the warmth of the people. For me, it was very scary to go outside and walk to get the train. And then I realized, wow, what we have in Aruba is just, it's magic. I always wanted to go abroad because I felt like I can learn more, you know, I can grow as a person. But now there's no place I want to be but home. And I feel like it's important because I feel like a turista arriba a mi isla, and I feel like we need to share with them our culture, what's right. You know, for example, Aruba Ocean Villas, they explain to us how they treat their guests, how they learn and teach them things that are very close to our hearts. I feel like that's very important to make them feel like they're at home and sharing that warmth that we have, definitely.
Thank you so much. Nicole, Armando, and Anouk, thank you for sharing your stories, your wisdom, and passion with us today. Each of you has provided us with incredible insights into your personal journeys and how we can all play a role in shaping the future of Aruba. A recurring theme stands out from today's conversation: change, whether it's in how we approach our work, how we support each other, how we preserve and protect our culture and environment. We all are agents of change, and that's exactly what our island needs right now. Let's give them a big round of applause. We heard earlier from our Minister of Tourism, Mr. Dan-Guillaume Audibert, and Mrs. Ronella Cruz, and also Mrs. Sanju Leidens, about the concerns and feelings of our local community has about the tourism industry and how many of us feel that change is necessary. But we saw that the shift is in motion. As we move forward, we must ensure that Aruba's tourism industry doesn't just serve our guests, but that it truly benefits the people of our island. As we grow our value, we must grow responsibly, preserve our culture, protect our natural beauty, and create opportunities to uplift and empower our local community. The path ahead requires collaboration, innovation, and above all, compassion. It's about making sure that everyone, both locals and guests, feels at home and has the opportunity to thrive. As we reflect on everything discussed today, it's clear that we have a role to play in this transformation, whether it's through creative work, hospitality, or leadership. Each of us can help move the needle toward the positive change we all want to see. Before we move on, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something incredibly important again. While today's discussions have focused on change, on what we can improve, and on where we need to go, it is vital that we also recognize again the tremendous success we've already achieved. We cannot overlook the remarkable work that has been done. In the face of an unprecedented global pandemic, Aruba's tourism industry not only recovered, but did so in a historic manner. Through sheer determination, commitment, and resilience, we've seen an incredible rebound. To be talking about full recovery, surpassing pre-COVID levels across various fronts at such an early stage is nothing short of extraordinary. This didn't happen by accident. It happened because of the hard work and dedication of everyone involved, our stakeholders, our communities, and each one of you in this room. Yes, we must continue to evolve. Yes, we have a path ahead of us that requires new thinking and new strategies. But let us not forget where we've come from. Let us honor the incredible journey we've already been on and the heights we've reached together. So, as we reflect on this journey, we must thank the people who made this possible. Our people. Our unsung heroes who quietly contributed to our recovery day in and day out. Before we close, it's time for a special moment in today's program. A moment to celebrate the heroes of Aruba. This World Tourism Month, we're celebrating the unsung heroes of our island, the extraordinary locals who quietly shape unforgettable experiences for our guests. Through simple acts of kindness, warm hospitality, and the sharing of our vibrant culture, they have enriched countless lives in ways that go far beyond the ordinary. In this special campaign, we've asked guests to share their stories of the heartfelt encounters that made their stay in Aruba truly memorable. From a friendly smile to a helping hand or a moment that sparked joy and connection, these locals have created memories that last a lifetime, reminding us of the magic that lives in the heart of our island. Let's take a moment to honor these remarkable individuals who've turned Aruba into a home away from home for so many. Their generosity of spirit and love for our island have made every guest feel not just welcome, but part of something extraordinary.
Hi, my name is Garvin Ras. My name is Terrence Brian Huntington.
My name is Erwin Williams.
So I started 6 years ago I started this as my first job. At first, it was a challenge because I studied kitchen. This was something different because you have to deal with people, with guests. But I fell in love with it, and it's going good till this day. Every day you meet new people, you hear new stories, and here the guest becomes family because they keep coming every year. They remember your name. Sometimes they bring a gift, and it's nice. It's like family, you know?
I started in 2011 as a bartender, something that I didn't see as my field at the beginning. With the time, I actually fell in love with it. It is one of my passions right now. I've always loved tourism. My mom actually, she's a tour guide. So I've always been in the field of working with tourism. We depend a lot on tourism, and I love that I contribute being a part of pretty much what we stand for.
When I came to Aruba, I was working at the airport. I saw an opportunity afterwards that DV needed people, and especially a doorman. So I was more interested as a doorman. I applied, got a job, and I'm 5 years here working. Love it. Every day is another challenge, another environment, another people. Communicating with the guests are just phenomenal. I love it.
My name is Sally Parker. I'm from Florida in the U.S., and I've been going to Aruba for 20 years. I'm looking to nominate Garvin Ross as just a hero to us. So friendly, he's the nicest young man. He has gone totally above and beyond by ordering us taxis, greeting us by name when we arrive each year, remembering us, remembering what we like, what we don't like, or what we want to do. So kudos to Garvin Ross. You're my hero. You did an exemplary job as usual.
My name is Christina Vetter, and the first time we ever visited was in May of this year. I would like to nominate Terrence Bryan Huntington. He's the one that, you're going to remember the way he made you feel when you're on vacation. And he gives you that experience that you, one, don't want to leave, and then two, you can't wait to go back, because he is the voice of Aruba to us now. He's the person we want to go back and see. And it felt like you had to meet there and be with him for part of the day to see what's everybody up to, what are we going to do, talk about different experiences. And he would suggest things, and it was a must. You have to go see Terrence at least one time during the day to make sure you had a great day in Aruba. He's just been amazing, and he made all of us who did not know each other feel like we were on a family vacation all together, just because he was so great.
My first name is Robert, and my surname, family name, is Donkers. And I think my wife and I have been to Aruba at least 4 times. First name is Erwin. He's very friendly at the reception for all the guests, because we have been sitting there sometimes waiting for a shuttle, etc. So he was very kind to us, but also to other people, especially elderly people, helping them with their luggage. What I found very remarkable, not expecting anything in return. But what really made me nominated Erwin for the Local Hero program is that on the last day, we were supposed to go to the airport back to the Netherlands. We had ordered a taxi. Of course, as you will guess, no taxi showed up. I mean, other taxis showed up, of course, at DV, but not the one we reserved. Erwin was at the door and really was very helpful, very concerned about us. Because, of course, you have to catch a flight. He looked at our reservation, and it said that if there were troubles, you have to call either a number in the United Kingdom or in the US. But he found out in small print that there was also a local number. So he tried that 4, 5, 6 times, and every time the number was busy. So anyway, so finally, Erwin called another taxi, which came promptly and picked us up. And I thanked him, of course, very much. I think he went out of his way, which I think really remarkable, to help us. The people of Aruba are very kind, and their nature is to be helpful. That's at least our experience. So again and again, a very friendly guy. So I think he really deserves to be nominated.
Nice. No, ito, Pinay mo sobra ito kung así na tanto tiempo, así na pinag mo conocer. Buenos niños, sabe quién está bien. Terus aqui tá indo me conhecer para o World de Tempo como começar, então o grande.
Makes me feel, well, very happy, appreciated for most. I love what I do, and also I love contributing in making people feel at home, making them feel comfortable.
I'm honored. It's beyond imagination that you can touch people's hearts in a certain way. Just a small detail, what makes them happy. I'm speechless. My heart belongs to you all, and I thank you all.
I would wish everyone,
my colleagues,
people from Aruba,
my bosses,
it is something to be appreciated, something to be celebrated.
Feliz Dia de Turismo.
Happy Tourism Day.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. We know that they don't do their work to be recognized, to get an award, but it is something to feel recognized. And today we're honoring you guys as our local heroes. We will start by calling on stage Mr. Terence Huntington, who was nominated by Christina Vetter. Please join us on stage, Terence, and I would like also to call our Minister of Tourism, Minister Guillermo Diber, and the CEO of the Aruba Tourism Authority, Mrs. Ronela Cruz, to also join us on stage to hand out the award. Thank you, and congratulations, Terence. You can stay close, because we are going to take a group picture at the end. Now I'd like to call on the stage Mr. Erwin Williams, who was nominated by Robert Dunkers. Congratulations, Erwin. We're proud of you. Thank you for the work that you do. Next, we have, now I was not surprised to see the video. I had the honor of officiating his wedding in July. I was not surprised to see your name there, Garvin. Next, we have Garvin Ras on stage. Fabi and Garvin, proud of you. Now I'd like to call them back on stage for us to take a group picture. And all three of them are getting extra gifts. Thank you, Rodolfo. They will be joining us at the Autentico Culinary Festival. Which, by the way, as Sanju said, you can get your tickets in the lobby. We don't have a lot of tickets left. It's a very exclusive thing. So if you haven't purchased your tickets yet, please purchase your ticket in the lobby or on aruba.com, or you can go to Superfood Plaza and get your tickets, secure your spot at the Autentico Culinary Festival that will take place on the 12th and 13th of October. Once more, congratulations to Terrence, Erwin, and Garvin. Thank you, Ronella. Thank you, Minister Audibert. Proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude today's conference, I want to invite you to look out for a thank you email from the Aruba Tourism Authority. It will include more information on our strategy for 2025 and how we can all move forward together. Now, I hope you feel the sense of purpose and direction that we've shared today. Today wasn't just about discussing the present, but also about envisioning the future. A future where Aruba's tourism industry serves not only our guests, but also the heart of our island, our people, our culture, and our natural beauty. As we've heard today, the call for change is clear. The shift is in motion. Our community desires a tourism industry that is more balanced, more authentic, and more sustainable. As we move forward, we will be guided by 4 values that will act as our compass from 2025 to 2035. Courage to face the challenges ahead and make decisions that reflect the well-being of our island. Curiosity to innovate and embrace a new era of responsible and regenerative tourism. Compassion to ensure that as we grow, we protect our community, our environment, and our culture. Heart to listen to our people and make choices that safeguard Aruba for future generations. With these values, we will create a future where growth does not compromise our authenticity, but strengthens it. As we move into the next chapter, we recognize that it is our responsibility to create a balanced present and a regenerative future. And always remember, if we love Aruba, Aruba will love us back. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let's continue to lead with courage, curiosity, compassion, and heart. My name is Ajahn Simulir, and I thank you for being with us today. Happy World Tourism Day. Thank you. Have a great day.